Hey. Hi, guys. All right. So we are in a bonus part 2 on this collective message. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. So appreciate you guys. And we left it on kind of a cliffhanger. So we're going to leap right on in. If you didn't see part 1, there's a free link to it in the description box. You'll definitely need to watch that first, and then you can bounce back over here, and then you'll be all caught up. Oh boy. Okay. So we left things with this is, we got to kind of know what might occur now. And we do have the Death card that ended up sideways. We have the Empress, though, in the reverse now, and we have the Hermit. I do not see him getting an instant reaction out of the Queen, and we already saw that. And I almost think that this is him saying, I know. When I talk to her, I know she'll speak the truth to me, but I'm going to be waiting for a sign from her as to what she thinks. She has shown up, by the way, in part 1 as both an Empress upright and then also as that Queen of Swords sideways. And where her life has been, we were saying, oh, well, looks like this is going to be a turning point for her when she receives this message from him, because she's going to have to decide what she wants to do. Obviously, this storyline says it may stir up a lot of emotions for her when she hears from them. And it may be enough that she actually gets really upset, or it could be enough emotions that she goes, so I'm hearing from them now, but I didn't realize that I would either, if this makes me feel sad inside, bad inside, this is when they reach out to me. It kind of looks like she withdraws and she has to really chew on things and think about things. This is not him reaching out all this time later, him never having said goodbye on purpose because he knew she was that important, but kind of still was like, yeah, but I got these other things to do. I really can't be around right now. So if she's still around later, like I'll set her free now. And yes, I'd like it to end up with her someday, but I'm not going to be able to either handle my own jealousy. So I would rather just let her go completely, so that I don't have to be jealous if I'm, we're trying to hold on to a connection, but I'm not around a lot. I'm going to be too jealous of who she's sleeping with. What if she cheats on me? So I'd rather let her go for my comfort. And then later on, since I never did say goodbye, maybe I can come back. If this is what he tries, I feel like the impact that his message will have on her looks like it could really push her through something that, unexpectedly, she might actually say, wow, I feel really awful about this. I feel like I'm not an Empress. That's how it's going to make me feel. Hang on, we need to explore that a little bit more. Tell me more about this, because I hope that nobody else's actions ever make her feel some kind of way. We have the Star, we have the Sun, we have the 7 of Pentacles, we have the 3 of Cups, and we have the Page of Swords. I might be misreading that. She might be saying, what the hell makes you think I'd want to be your Empress? She might literally be saying, I healed from this a long time ago. I hear from him. Maybe someday, I always kind of figured this would happen, but now that it's happening, I'm realizing I'm very far away from the person I used to be. He thinks I'm his Empress. He doesn't know anything about what I've become, about where my life has been, about what I've done. He thinks I'm somebody, maybe I don't even want to be married, and he hasn't considered that. She's kind of contemplating. When she gets this message, she's not going to do any responding right away. But I'm so relieved. Oh my God, I was so stressed out for a second. I was like, oh no, she's going to be all hurt. No, she's not. Not in this. We don't see her all wounded. What we see is her saying, how interesting. He doesn't know what my life has become. He thinks that I wish to be his Empress, that I wish to be married to him. I've healed a lot from what happened between the two of us. In fact, I play the ukulele now, and I sing happy songs. I don't sing songs about him. We got a 7 of Pentacles for her. She's like, both of these cards say distance and healing. She could have shifted everything from her hairstyle to the things that she does. I think she looks fantastic, by the way. This is somebody who, time has actually made her look younger. I think there's a lot of people out there that they get better looking as they get older. They really grow into their features. They really, take on an elegance. She's one of those. There's something about her that maybe it's her confidence, maybe it's her real happiness in her life, but it just looks terrific. And with the 3 of Cups and the Page of Swords, she's also having it dawn on her, how interesting. So he's at least recently spied on me, or has he spied on me? I'm thinking they've been apart for at least 4 years. And she's like, oh, has he been checking up on me over the last 4 years? At least 3 different times? You know what? Time has passed, but he doesn't seem to realize that I've changed a lot. Or is that why? Did he go out and test run with other people? Nah, I don't like her as much as I like you. I'll try another one. Oh no, I don't like her as much as I like you. And now finally he's coming back around. Was he comparing me to others as he dated other people? I kind of think she's almost good-natured about this though. Not wounded, but more like, why would he think I would want him back? I almost think this is going to be a surprise for her to be looking at it like this. This is so not what I would have guessed I would feel like. Okay, with that in mind, let's just cut to the chase. Queen of Swords, what do you want from him? Eight of Swords, she says, well, I guess I would want to know, has he been stuck on me this whole time, thinking about me this whole time, or has he been out dating everybody on earth this whole time? Who is he at this point? Seven of Cups. She's saying, unless I knew that, I wouldn't know how to even begin to answer. I wouldn't even consider him to be a contender. My impression is she's basically saying, forgive me for being so rude about this, but she doesn't want to like a heavily used vehicle. If he's been out having relationships with other people during these years, practicing relationships with other people, putting the mileage on his mind, his heart, his body, his soul, his energetic self. She's like, I don't think I want to, I'm not real interested in, like getting somebody who has that much extra karma connected to him. I would have to know, has he actually been contemplating the situation with me and himself, or has he just been outside practicing relationships with other people? Because that would change. She needs answers. This is not as simple as like, oh yay, you're back, or oh, I understand you weren't, for whatever reason, you weren't ready to be with me. There's this other really deep fundamental question of like, how many miles have you put on your bed with other people? I mean, I think that's a fair question. And it does seem like she's the one who goes, that's probably the first and single most important question, because it tells me a lot about me in his eyes. 10 of Cups. And she's already saying, and I'm realizing I can be happy either way. I can be happy if he's somebody that I would never want anything else to do with. It's like, you know what? I'm glad I'm still the one who stays on your mind. Cool. Even if I'm not going to take you back. But thank you for letting me know. That could be something that makes her happy to hear this. But with the 10 of Cups, she's saying, I'm positive that what I won't do to myself is ever say yes or take somebody back that isn't somebody I can genuinely feel like I could trust again or feel like I want to be with again. I think she's in a really good energy here for saying, yeah, I don't have to worry too much about whether or not he's in my life or not, because he would have to fit into my world. 6 of Wands. Okay, so armed with this realization, and let's go back to part 1 when we said at the beginning of it, it's like, where'd the rock bottom card go? Now I don't see where I put it, but in any case, where her life was going, we had a card of rock bottom and we saw 2 different paths. And it's like when she receives this piece of factual message, then she decides where she goes from there. And I think this is her saying, what I realize is, depending upon whatever his answers are, that will determine whether or not I talk to him again or consider him again. But if the answer is not what I would want, then I will still say, well, thank you for the compliment that you, after all those other people, you still think I'm the one you'd want. Thank you. I guess, yay, I win the prize. But that's great. I'm the one you won't forget. But I still don't see her saying that then she'd take him back. So I do think that there's a lot hinging on whether or not, just because keep in mind in this story, we had all these subtleties. This wasn't like 2 people who mutually decided to part ways and said, you know what, I love you, but we're just not good together. Shake hands. And my friend, if I see you in 10 years from now and we're still single, we'll get back together. That's not what the scenario was. This situation was handled very differently and a little bit calculatingly and a little, so I can see why she's like, well, I guess getting a message from him, I'd have to know, who have you been in these years that I haven't spoken to you? Where have you been in these years? You know, so that I can understand, what are your motives? Are you somebody who goes out, plays around with others, and then when you decide, now I want somebody stable and amazing and reliable, then you come knocking on my door? Yeah, I'm not looking for your used goods. You know, like that's that. I'm sorry to be so blunt about it, but that's the way I would read this. And that's the part where she's like, I don't know. I think that should have been made clear. I know we said in part one, you know, the cards that came out is like, he was certainly trying to lay it out as like, I am heartbroken without you. I am so positive you were my Two of Cups. He was being very heartfelt, very sincere. But, oh, there's the rock bottom card that was hers. But that was absent. Anything about like, where have I been throughout these years? So let's just go ahead and dig. Where have you been throughout these years? The Moon and the Nine of Swords in the reverse. There's something here where I don't know if he's saying what she doesn't know won't bother her. I don't think so, though. I think it's like, we have the Strength card. Just a second. I actually get a good vibe off of this collection. I don't think this is some flippant answer, but maybe I'm wrong. No, we have an Ace of Swords and an Ace of Wands. It could be that in this really bizarre way, the bond he had to her was so strong all this time. And this is going to sound like over the top theatrical maybe, but I don't think there's been anybody else but her. This bond has been so strong. And it's like, what she doesn't know is that I never really felt like I wasn't with her. The same reason I never said goodbye. The same reason I never like just moved on. It was just that the timing was wrong, but I already knew she was the one for me. And I didn't, it's almost like he stayed away from her and said, if she is going to go off and be with other people, I can't bear to deal with it. And if I were dating her, trying to be in a relationship with her, trying to be married to her, and I still have to be gone a ton, I'm petrified she'll wind up cheating on me. We saw that in that Nine of Swords card. They said, I can't bear to have that kind of stress. And we saw somebody sleeping on a bridge in part one. Now we have the Nine of Swords in the reverse. He's like, she may not believe me, but I couldn't bear the thought of her cheating on me. But the bond I had to her was, she's the one I wanted all this time. She doesn't understand. That's the only reason I backed off, is because I didn't think I could handle the idea of her like cheating on me. I don't even know why that's what he would think. And how would it be better to say, so I just left her so that I can say, well, I did leave her so she can, I don't want to ask about whatever has happened in her life. I don't want to pry. I don't want to know. I almost think that this is somebody who really can tell themselves like, oh, I didn't see that, so I don't have to know about it, and then I can handle it. But it's so weird because they only wanted her. But it's like they didn't trust the bond wouldn't be stretched too thin and be broken, like she wouldn't cheat on them. So instead they stayed away from her, not because they were the ones going out cheating, but because it was like, if we're just not together, then I can say, I don't have to fear what if she goes out with somebody else, because honestly, I can't be with her if I let her go, which means I don't have to feel bad if she's with somebody else, because technically I did walk away. This is also weird and semantics and like loopholes. This is like legal loopholes. For some reason, this is how they managed all of their stress. And it doesn't make a lick of sense, but we have the Justice card. That is Libra energy. Look, nothing about this was fair. They did what they had to for their own crazy, sorry, I'm going to say crazy, way that they tallied up what they could handle and what they couldn't. If I was with her and she cheated on me, I couldn't handle it. So instead I let her go, but really always wanted to come back and be with her. But now I don't need to know what happened when I wasn't around, even though she's the only one that I want, but I won't count it as cheating, and then I don't have to think about it. But on the other hand, now I've done her dirty. I've done her wrong by basically setting this up to say, you're the person I wanted. You're the person I want to be faithful to. But because I didn't really have enough trust in you because of my triggers and fears, I instead stayed away from you all this time. Yet you were the one I always wanted. You were my star. You were the one in my night sky. But it took a long time for me to get back around to you. So all this time that these two could have been, he could have been some kind of a support in her life. Instead, for his own kind of mixed up comfort zone, to deal with his own jealousy, he stayed away from her and offered her nothing. We don't see anything here that says that he was busy cheating, or not even cheating, but that he was out, like I said, test driving other relationships. That's going to be a hard thing for her to comprehend. So you wanted me, it's not like you were out finding other people. You wanted me all this time, but you weren't there with me. Okay, that's going to be a freaking head trip. What's his reaction to that? Emperor upright. He is somebody who is like, I either have to be all in and I have my empire and I'm here in my empire, or I can't be in the empire at all, in which case I don't even want to have attachments because it'll tear me to pieces. I feel like he's a master of compartmentalization and he can't handle not doing it that way. Like, either we're together and I'm really comfortable and we see each other all the time and we live together and we are married and all that, or if I have to be away, I have to stay single. I can't bear the thought of it'll eat me alive. Who else is, possibly keeping you company when I'm not there? So he compartmentalized to this extreme degree, but he's saying, but now I can be here and offer the empire. He's come across as an emperor twice and a king of pentacles. Hang on, let's change decks. Is she going to understand this response? Is she going to understand this response? Like, that's the route you took. Strangely, yes. She will understand the response completely. And maybe there's been nobody else on her heart but him as well. I still think that this is like a weird, wasted amount of time that two people, whatever though. Hey, if it works for them, it works for them. It just seems like that jealousy should have gotten under control. Like, that was the bigger thing to look at and figure out how to fix. But we have a Two of Swords here for her. She is still saying the thing is, and this might be unfair, but this is going to be a one-way street. Even if he's the only one that I wanted, I will not tell him that. He doesn't get to ask me any questions because you walked away from me because you were oh so worried. What if I went off with somebody else that you couldn't bear to hear about it? So instead you walked away from me knowing you wanted to be with me. You haven't been with anybody else. Now you want to be with me. Does that make me happy? Yes. Will I give you the satisfaction of knowing it was the same for me? I didn't go out and find anybody else. She's saying he's got no business asking me a single question because you walked away from me. She got a little bit of a, like, I get to ask you this, you don't get to ask me this. Okay, this is a very these are categories of dialogues that are allowed to be said or not said. She's saying, so under those circumstances, will I start over with you? I will. But you had to honestly answer my questions, but you get to ask me nothing about where I've been in the same amount of time. Now, ironically, she's like, I didn't go out and find anybody else, but she still is saying I won't be giving him the satisfaction of knowing that. That might change over time. I think it's just right now she's like, this is a one-way conversation. You owe me explanations. I don't owe you any because of the way you handled things. And she might just be saying that to make a point. I don't know if she really holds with that the entire time. It just says that's how she's, from what I saw. I'm not saying it's good, bad, or otherwise. It's just what we got. You guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Our stories take us wherever they take us. Take care. Bye.